Invest Hong Kong is the government department under the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau responsible for foreign direct investment (FDI). At Invest Hong Kong, our mission is to attract and retain FDI, which is strategically important to the Hong Kong economy, so as to strengthen our position as the leading business hub in Asia. And also, at Invest Hong Kong, we have two major objectives. Number one, to promote Hong Kong's various advantages and opportunities to the global business community. And number two is really to support foreign companies and investors to set up or expand their operations in our city. In our head office here, we are structured by 8 priority sector teams covering both traditional economic pillars as well as new emerging sectors. And around the world, we're having a global network of 30 overseas offices covering important markets in Asia Pacific, Middle East, Europe, North and South America. Well, I guess foreign direct investment (FDI) is very important to any economy in the world, and particularly to a very externally oriented economy like Hong Kong. Very often, FDI is associated with new products and services, new technologies, new management systems and processes, and more importantly, new jobs for our people. And all of these can help drive our continuous economic growth and also make our city more competitive. I think the current economic situation in Hong Kong is very promising. If we look at per capita GDP, for example, for Hong Kong, it now stands at about 46,000 US dollars, which is among the highest in the world. And our GDP growth last year was 3.8% and is expected to be around 3 to 4% this year. And also, according to a survey done by our Census and Statistics Department last year, there are probably more than 8,200 foreign companies operating in Hong Kong today, and about 45% of these companies are utilizing Hong Kong for regional management. The top 3 markets where these companies are coming from are Japan, US, and mainland China. And the top 3 business sectors in which these companies are operating are trading, wholesale and retail, banking and finance, and business and professional services. Well, honestly, I think almost everywhere in Asia is a good market. Asia is growing much faster economically than the US and Europe. So there are lots of business opportunities in the region. So I guess in particular, you find more opportunities in mainland China, India, and Southeast Asia. And of course, Hong Kong is a pretty attractive market in its own right as well. From a B2C perspective, for example, we have a pretty huge consumer base with 7.3 million local residents and also almost 60 million visitors annually. From the B2B perspective, Hong Kong is always a major business hub in Asia with lots of regional headquarters set up by multinational corporations. And as I mentioned, FDI is very important to any economy nowadays. And as you can imagine, every country, every city is working very hard to attract FDI. So I guess Asia is big enough to accommodate multiple business hubs. So cities like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Shanghai have a major role to play in Asia. But there's one point I would like to emphasize is that Hong Kong enjoys dual advantages under the one country, two systems arrangement. In particular, we enjoy the advantage of being part of China, the second largest economy in the world. At the same time, the advantage of practicing another system, especially one of the most liberal economic systems in the world. And that helps. To maintain Hong Kong as an appealing hub in Asia, I think Hong Kong needs to not only strengthen our traditional economic pillars, but also to develop the new and emerging sectors on innovation and technology, for example. And also, we need to attract continuously multinationals and at the same time also support SMEs and startups, which are more innovative. And the government has been doing a lot of things in order to achieve this objective through various funding schemes and tax incentives. For example, in year 2016, the government introduced a tax incentive scheme to attract multinationals to set up their corporate treasury centers in Hong Kong. And this initiative will not only attract them to set up corporate treasury centers, but hopefully also the regional headquarters in Hong Kong, because we know that companies tend to co-locate their treasury centers and headquarters in one location. And last year, the government also set up and introduced a 2 billion innovation and technology venture fund, whereby the government would invest directly in some promising startups together with some VCs. And this is very encouraging. And more recently, this year, we have introduced the two-tiered tax system. That is, for any company, your first 2 million Hong Kong dollars of profits, you pay only 8.25% profits tax, versus the normal 16.5% tax rate. At the same time, we are also going to introduce what we call the super tax deduction for R&D. That is, for the first 2 million Hong Kong dollars of R&D expenditure you spend, you can enjoy 300% tax deduction, and anything beyond $2 million, you still enjoy 200% tax deduction. So this is to encourage companies to do more R&D in Hong Kong. And all these new initiatives will certainly help strengthen our economy and make us more appealing as a business hub in Asia. I think there are now two very important new developments that will potentially benefit Hong Kong a lot. The first one is the Belt and Road Initiative. So I think Hong Kong can really be the melting pot to facilitate infrastructural development along the Belt and Road by leveraging on our position as a leading business hub in Asia, and also our strengths in professional and financial services. The second development is the Greater Bay Area development. Now, the Bay Area covers Hong Kong, Macau, and 9 different cities in the Guangdong province. So this is the wealthiest region in China, and Hong Kong being the most important, most international city of China under the Bay Area development will certainly have a bigger role to play to facilitate more mainland Chinese companies to go global and develop the Belt and Road. And in terms of markets to focus on, I think Invest Hong Kong will continue to target the advanced economies like the US, Europe, and Japan, and also develop more the emerging markets like mainland China and ASEAN. And in terms of sector, obviously with very big support from the government, our innovation and technology will be a very strong focus for the government and Invest Hong Kong as well in the future. So the four specific areas, namely AI robotics, smart cities, biotechnology, biomedicine, and also fintech, will be our key areas to promote and develop in the near future. Well, I think in general, Hong Kong has a very vibrant retail and hospitality market, which is well supported by our 7.3 million local residents, as well as almost 60 million visitors every year. And since year 2017, inbound tourism has improved from a few years of slowdown. And we believe that the year 2018 will be an even stronger year. Um, of course, rents in Hong Kong are never cheap, as in the case in any other global city. But bear in mind that Hong Kong is a very open economy, a free market where prices are largely determined by supply and demand. Having said that, I believe that investors still need to do their own research before deciding to set up a retail operations in Hong Kong. And Invest Hong Kong is here to provide assistance in this regard. And from my experience, I've seen that pop-up stores, for example, or even some weekend markets are getting more and more popular in Hong Kong for potential retail operators to test out their products in a more safer way before they make a bigger commitment to rent a more permanent physical location. And it helps also, yeah. Sectors on the rise. I think innovation and technology definitely is one of them. With the government setting aside 50 billion Hong Kong dollars under this year's budget to promote and develop innovation and technology, for sure, this sector will see a lot more activities in the future, a lot more investments in the future, and also aircraft leasing. Last year, the government also introduced a tax incentive scheme to attract companies doing aircraft leasing business to set up in Hong Kong. So I guess very soon we will be seeing more international companies setting up doing this kind of business in Hong Kong. Um, in terms of the Belt and Road Initiative, I think at least in the more early stage of the initiative, we'll see sectors like financial services, professional services, and even shipping and logistics. These sectors will benefit more when we focus more on infrastructural development. Um, so I think in general, our economy will continue to grow overall, and it will benefit all sectors. But of course, some sectors may grow faster than the others. Well, I'm confident that the Bay Area development will benefit Hong Kong tremendously. Um, Although we are still waiting for the mainland government to release the master development plan for the Bay Area, we know the idea is to develop the Bay Area into a truly world-class city cluster, and this is to be done through more coordinated development. And each city within the Bay Area has to leverage on their existing strengths and advantages while also complementing and collaborating with each other. So I believe a lot of synergies will be created as a result, and certainly Hong Kong will benefit a lot from this initiative. And we should see a closer integration between cities within the Bay Area. For example, two very important transport systems are the Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge and the Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong Express Rail Link, which will be operational very soon, uh, will certainly help facilitate more regional flows of people, goods within the Bay Area. So I guess also in terms of technology, we'll see a lot of collaboration. We all know that Hong Kong and Shenzhen are jointly building a new technology park at Lok Ma Chau. When it's finished in a few years' time, we'll see certainly a lot of top-notch tech companies, research institutes, you know, fund companies to come to Hong Kong, set up here, and take advantage of the new tech park. So to me, I see just advantages and opportunities from the Bay Area development.